every aspect of it. I mean, the curtain calls into the Lee Sin Qs, their decision-making on target selection, so beautiful. And now, into Champion Select for game number 3. Can Ever8 do it again? Or is it going to be Kongdoo Monster firing back in another game 3? They have been known to take victory. And I mean, when a team goes to match point against Kongdoo Monster, in this tournament at least, has been a time for them to fire back. But it's going to be a tough call as they hop on the blue side once again.
The likelihood of them being able to come up with a win, it's I mean, it'd be very impressive if they could do so, extend the series in their favor. But Ever8, after that performance, they look poised to go ahead and take this with a 3-0. Malrong just absolutely destroying everybody with his Lee Sin yet again. Twice in a row we see that come through, and I wouldn't be too shocked if we see Kongdoo ban it away, honestly, here in game number 3.
Would make some sense. But we'll see whether it is going to continue to be this top lane focus that we have been seeing. Wasn't last time, of course. The Rumble was followed up with the Varus and the Ashe on the blue side for Kongdoo Monster, but that didn't seem to get them anywhere as Duel, his Jhin, looked pretty flawless, honestly.
Yeah, and once you bring out a performance like that on the Jhin, it's so hard to ban away from the AD carry pool. And that's something that you would expect to want to do after watching Ever8's first games against Jhin Air, where Duel and Elo really weren't in them.
Yeah.
The Cogmaw Lulu lane just falling to the side every single time. And that would be like, okay, you know what? We target these guys, and we punish them really hard, and that's how we get ahead, because Malrong's really good, so we need to get an advantage somewhere on the map. But after the performance from Duel here in game number 1, and now in game number 2, following up with the Jhin, he's a force that you have to worry about on the side of Ever8. Now every single lane on Ever8 is a deadly one, and Kongdoo just seem like they don't have the prowess, they don't have the skill to outmatch them individually.
And it's all about what Malrong's able to do to get the rest of his lanes ahead, because it just shows that it doesn't quite matter what they do. They're able to get that work done, and look at this. The Vladimir banned away, Kongdoo looking for that Syndra first pick potentially. See whether Ever8 respond with that Syndra ban right now. No, Jace is going to be taken off the board.
But the thing that we have to keep in mind here for Ever8 is if that Syndra comes in the first half of the draft for Kongdoo Monster, and oh boy, Punch, going to go back to the Lee Sin.
Oh my god,
if
and
we do see that Syndra come out, Aurelion Sol should be the answer from Sceptid.
Oh, that is very true. And of course, Sceptid does have the last pick in this first round of picks as well. So now Helper. We'll see whether he goes back to his Gragas early on, or whether we stick to what we know, which is pick our bottom lane and jungle, and then save those solo lanes until after the next round of bans. Lulu going to be picked up. Of course, Ella, very practiced on the Lulu, played 4 out of 5, I believe, of his games in this tournament on the champion. His last of which looking very good.
We have the outside chance that...
There's a Graves available. I don't know why Malrong wouldn't go towards it, but the Rengar being hovered.
So there's the outside chance that we do see the Lulu end up in the mid lane, depending on how the rest of this draft goes.
True.
But very likely will be for Ella. He's shown quite a bit of favor.
Doesn't feel like a Sceptid champion either, as Rengar is going to be locked in, so Malrong mixing it up.
Yeah, changing things up a little bit. This is going to be his second Rengar game. So has played quite a bit of champions so far throughout the duration of this tournament. The Lee Sin was his 5th unique, but now going back over for the Rengar. But on a strong performance, and we're talking about the Syndra. Yeah. It's available, and they're hovering it. But again, this opens up for that Aurelion Sol, which has been banned against Sceptid very frequently. We've already seen it twice. They lock it in.
So the gauntlet has certainly been thrown. No standard counter pick. Sorry. I guess, yeah, the standard counter pick in the Vladimir, not available, as we mentioned before. But I mean, Echo does decently in the matchup. Like you said, Aurelion Sol, not too bad. Sneaky little mouse there, giving the kitty cat a little bit of a pat. If you guys saw that one. But no, Edge, see what he decides to pick up. And look, Helper. Wow, very different approach to the pick ban.
I mean, Helper's been playing this Gragas pretty much throughout the duration of this tournament. So we saw him play Gragas twice in the first set when they were playing against Jhin Air. And other than that, we've only ever seen the Nautilus from him, really. So he'll change things up by going with the Shen as it's available.
Yeah, so Shen going to be locked in for the top side of the map. Helper more than happy to jump on that one as well. And I like this if Kongdoo are going to go for some sort of pick composition option, with the fact that, Syndra does have long-range pick potential, as well as Roach being able to kick people back and stuff like that. So Wild Growth and Stand United, both good options for mitigating that.
So this makes me wonder if Ever8 have another pick ready in the mid lane to go into the Syndra outside of the Aurelion Soul because they did not draft it. Granted, probably a bit concerned that the Shen would be banned away and maybe Helper, who's been playing nothing but tank matchups, doesn't want to get forced onto something a bit, more like a bruiser. So they do run a risk of having the Aurelion Soul banned away. So hopefully for their sake, Septed has something prepared that can go toe-to-toe with this Syndra.
The thing I do love is the fact that there's such a change in approach to this particular draft. Kongdoo are doing everything they can to shake off the last 2 games, change things completely as far as draft strategy, and Ever8 probably weren't expecting this particular approach, and we'll see how they pivot in order to deal with it. Tahm Kench going to be the final ban, so focusing on that support role, which makes some sense. Malzahar available to think about notable supports that they can still pick there towards the bottom side. Guga could also hop onto something like a Braum if he feels like, and Thresh is available as well, so still a few choices that they can make.
I mean, every support that we've seen from Guga throughout the duration of this promotion tournament has been taken away.
How hard is it to find the Aurelion Soul button? There it is, finally comes in.
Seems like they had a lot of debate over this one, whether or not they wanted to actually ban the Aurelion Soul or try to run Edge into it and see if he could outplay Septed, but they will not opt in for that challenge. They want to just go ahead, take it off the board, and see what Ever8 are going to fall back to. Likely...
Taliyah makes sense.
Well, we could just see the Taliyah.
Well, something that Ever8 were very capable of doing means that their damage is going to be relatively low moving into the late game, and it looks like could be an opportunity for Jewel to get on something like that Kog'Maw, but he'll have a look at what Soul picks up and decide from there. Of course, Ezreal's up. Soul looked fantastic on that in previous matchups.
There's a lot of ADCs available. We actually haven't had any ADC bans this game. So the Varus is on the board for Soul if he wants to go back to that, like we saw in game 1.
And Ashe. And Twitch.
Yeah, he had an absolutely busted CS record in game 1, so he could just go ahead and pick that up for himself. But seems like they want to get a little bit spicy here. The Twitch will be coming through.
I like it. And Soul looked so good. 6-0 and 6. I believe was his scoreline.
They need something to really protect the Twitch. We already saw the flash on that Thresh, and I think that's going to make the most sense here.
Yep.
Offer up a bit of mitigation with the shield, but the Dark Passage, more importantly, to drag the Twitch out to safety. So they will go ahead and lock that in. Otherwise, would desperately need something like a Karma that can just really offer up a meaty shield and try to stop him from taking as much damage as possible.
Yeah, right now looking to add some utility to the bottom lane by the looks, with Jewel picking up that Ashe once again. His performance in game 1 was fantastic, so it would make some sense, and they will have a lot of pressure in this bottom lane. Heard Papa Smithy talking about it yesterday, but Thresh doesn't offer very much in the laning phase. Might be an opportunity for Ever8 to try and grab themselves an advantage, but Soul has been demonstrated as a phenomenal Twitch player, so should be able to navigate that one quite nicely. And so Kongdoo Monster now have changed things up completely. They've got the Syndra finally in their back pocket. There was no real answer that's definitive on the side of Ever8 winners this time, and it shows that Zephyr knew what he was doing this time around in the draft. I really feel like Kongdoo are out to a much better start off the back of that, strategically anyway.
It definitely does look better coming into this game. The assassination potential is not going to be as strong for the Twitch because of the Stand United over on the side of Ever8 coming in at the top lane.
Yeah.
So they need to keep very close tabs on that cooldown, because while it is down, that's a massive window for Soul to go ahead and try to jump onto somebody like Jewel, outplay him, flash away from the Ashe Arrow perhaps and just juke it out and then win those exchanges. But otherwise, if the Stand United is there, the Ashe Arrow connects, Soul could very well find himself being splatted.
Yeah, we have to remember as well that the change-ups are across the board here on the side of Ever8. I mean, Shen, that was being played by Roach last time we saw it. Rengar, first time that we've seen it in this series. Taliyah, the only thing that feels like it's comfort on the side of Ever8, as Septed looked fantastic in game number 1, as well as the Ashe for Jewel, but pretty standard stuff. We'll see whether the Lulu for Ella is going to really help out, because he's known as this disengaged support player. The aggression that can come out from a Lulu is certainly something in the early game, but we'll see what they can do. Match point now for Ever8 winners as they go up against Kongdoo Monster.
환영합니다.
right, well, this is a spicy little brush to camp in.
Mmm.
Trying to see if Roach wants to push in, get some vision, but without seeing anybody on the bottom side of the map poking their heads out, it's pretty unlikely that he'll go in and get some wards down.
Yeah, you can see already the bottom lane heading back to base. So, every 8 winners were like, well, it was worth a shot. I'm not going to lose anything from it either. Just throw down some defensive vision. That bottom lane's going to be a very dark place for Ashe and Lulu to wander into. So be careful, guys. Of course, no one's there waiting, but hook from the brush is something that you always need to be conscious of.
Honestly, a lot of times, the brush that you see camped when there's a Gragas in the top lane or even in the jungle is going to be the one on the back side of the red pit. Because oftentimes you'll see a Gragas starting off with body slam, go over the wall, and then drop a ward into the red pit as it spawns to get some vision over the jungler. We saw that, I believe it was Huni actually got caught. He had a 5-man body slam to start the game off, but he died.
Yeah. It's problematic.
Forget which game that was in. Might have been one of the sets against a Freak of Freaks, maybe the first one, or maybe it was even in the Telecom War. I don't exactly recall, but I believe it was Huni.
Sounds like one of the Freak of Freaks games because, I mean, there's not very many losses, and that ain't a great start. So it feels like it could have potentially been that.
I think I'm remembering it correctly. Either way, it definitely happened.
I trust you.
But yeah, that's one of the ones that they frequent. I mean, even then he went for the wraparound to try to check that one out, but with Septed pushing forward, it just jumps him back into the top lane. He'll be fine and happy to see us.
Yeah, cute little flay, and Guga says, well, that didn't really help me very much, did it?
Yeah, no hook, so you can't go for the extended trade, really. So they actually lose out on that one. But this could be the X factor for Kongdoo Monster. Soul going on this hyper carry of Twitch.
Oh, nice hawk shot there from Jewel. Exactly where Punch is Septed and Edge going aggressive against one another. Oh, that didn't feel good. Septed pretty upset that we're watching the mid lane at the moment. Malrung going to utilize that vision advantage that they had with that hawk shot to try and get himself into the jungle here on the bottom side. Would have known that Lee Sin didn't have the red buff. Punch now grabbing his Gromp means that he will miss out on these Krugs as Ella goes aggressive. But the poison is there and the Contaminate does a fair bit of work. Can Malrung get some sort of wraparound gank here? Soul and Guga potentially maybe up for a lost summon a spell.
They have no real way of drawing him in. You know, if the Thresh was on the other side of this fight, then sure, you can see Ella going in for the hook, landing it, and dark passaging in the Rengar. But because the lane is pushing them back towards the turret, there's no real window, and he doesn't want to waste the time, so he's just going to opt to go back into the jungle. He'll maintain a very fast pace on his clear.
Oh, good stun as the cleanse was maybe a little bit late. Punch lands the Q, decides not to go aggressive, and Septed now with no cleanse. Does still have the flash, but nice gank attempt.
Yeah, would have been a very poor decision for Punch to go in underneath that turret. Not tanky at all on that Lee Sin, the safeguard, only going to get you so much shielding this early into the game.
Intelligent of Septed to hold on to the seismic shove as well, make sure that he threatens.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you get into that situation, no seismic shove. As soon as the resonating strike connects, you're looking at the flash away, and then throwing out something like a threaded volley to try to trade the damage back in on top of the turret. But just wants to go for the safer route. Shoots his way back and does not get punished too heavily for it.
Yeah, still a worthwhile pickup as well, given the fact that that cleanse was taken away. Duel now gets that wave once again to the turret. 9 CS advantage here for Ever 8 winners. Soul's forced to farm under tower. And you can see that poison's making things quite annoying, but thanks to Guga, at least gets one of those. Things on the top side of the map very, very even, as you'd understand, but a little bit more jungling being taken care of by Malrung on this Rengar, who in the LCK has had up and down performances throughout the spring season.
Yeah. It's been a bit inconsistent.
Yeah,
as far as him showing up goes.
Malrung didn't find success last time we saw it on it in his series against Jin. That was because they were running their classic Kog'Maw, Lulu, Gragas situation that was just honestly not great at any point. Cute little body slam there from Roach. He looks very comfortable on this Gragas, now on the opposite side of the matchup.
This is the third time that we've seen Edge play the Syndra in this tournament. But it's never really been about him on the Syndra. So while he does look comfortable and he doesn't exactly lose lane, he's not that Syndra, that just 100 to 0s everybody, gets these massive, 3-4 man stuns during the team fights. He's just kind of the assist throughout the duration.
Ooh. Man, that was really, really cute.
Yeah.
That Lantern being thrown out as a bit of a bait and a juke. Guga forcing some pings out from Ever 8 winners. Oh, that was so close.
Yeah.
But Marong, actually
away.
thought that someone was around here. Oh, he's still waiting. Has all of that vision down.
Warning ping's coming out. They know that he's in the vicinity. They'll toss out that ward, but he can safely go ahead and rotate down. Ella's waiting for him in the brush to speed him up so they can get out.
Yeah, Jewel taking a bit of damage. Understands that he has positional advantage.
Yeah, because of Edge's performances on this Syndra thus far during the tournament, I think it's why Soul is still going to be the 100% big reason why Kongdoo Monster can come up with a victory with this Twitch. So it's really going to come down to him. At the moment, he's maintaining pretty close CS numbers at the moment, down less than 10. And as a Twitch, being able to exit lane, maybe 15, 20 CS down, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel it.
Same thing with, the likes of Vayne or even Kog'Maw.
Yeah, understanding that you are probably going to fall behind based on the pressure. Realize that you just need to get to that mid to late game where you can press your R button in Twitch's case and kill everyone on a team.
He's already got a very nice first back. He's not opting in for the boots. And he had the fast track on the Vamp Scepter by starting with the long sword, so has the recurve bow ready to go. So it's about 1,400, I believe, to get the completion on that Blade of the Root King.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little bit more. Recipe is a little bit difficult to put together, but now Guga clearing out vision towards this bottom side for Kongdoo Monster. Couple of invested control wards around the area, but the first dragon is only going to be that ocean, so not quite as imperative to get pressure on there as it was in game number 2. I was just sick of getting bopped, I think. He's getting bopped a lot.
You too. You just had this, drunken fat man crashing into you every couple seconds.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty annoying.
I mean, I've never had that before, so I couldn't talk from experience, but sounds bad. Oh, Marong is going to get spotted out here. Punch. Be able to clear this ward immediately. They know exactly where both junglers are on both sides. Remember, Helper now has level 7, so Stand United well and truly available. Accepted.
Might need to use it soon.
Yeah, it needs to dodge that cube, it doesn't. Marong is there. Means that the resonating strike is not going to be followed up with.
Yeah, still the fast track here from Ella, who is ready to respond. Gugar has a longer path to get over to try to assist in that kill. Unless he wants to flash into the dragon pit, which I'd say is inadvisable.
Yep. It's one of the benefits of having control on the bottom side of the map. It means that these river fights are always in advantage of the team that is able to do so. Rogue takes 2 turret shots and evens out the trade for Helper. Helper says thank you very much.
He's having a comfortable time, though. I mean, Helper is innately going to be behind as far as the CS is concerned because he's going to get shoved in underneath the turret. His clear is not going to be fantastic. Needs that Tiamat to really come through.
Yeah.
But you can see, it's going to be that Spectre's Cal to start things off for him. Oh, the bottom lane.
Yeah,
Flash away.
Flash gained.
Septid's cheating down here, though. Weaver's Wall's ready.
Oh, there's the Stand United as well. Malrunk really wants this. In goes Septid. Guga's going to die as well. First blood goes to the mid laner. And immediately Roach, he teleported, he completed it, but body slammed his way out. Now first brick is looking to go down, but decent stun onto Ella.
There's no minions, the wave's now crashing in.
3 versus 5, Punch is only just arriving, and Powered Bowler comes down. They just want to grab this good seismic shove as Roach gets slowed by the Glitterlance. And there is still a minion available. Oh my goodness, it's so close. Double stun, but Scatter the Weak just not close enough as Jewel is like, I really just want to get this turret.
He wants to take this, but this is still so risky because Roach, despite how low he is, has the explosive cask ready to go. So not only can he help clear out the minions, but he can knock somebody in. So this is going to elude them for a little bit longer. But you can see Duel and Ella still healthy enough to go ahead and stick around. So they're going to be looking for this, but they don't know that Edge is sitting in that brush. They'll spot him now as he wraps around.
Sneaky as well as the Twitch was coming in. Malrong's going to use this to counter jungle. I love this guy's mindset. Understands that everyone probably still going to be hanging around, either backing or moving up. He has positional advantage, can steal what he wants. Oh, no stun on Decepted. Did have the cleanse if he was in too much trouble, but it's another one of those cases where the Talia could be well and truly accelerated. And that was Edge. Game number 1 against Jin Air when they were very, very far ahead. Unfortunately got outscaled towards the end of that particular game, but we knew what he was capable of in the mid game, and that is going to be what Septed can do this game. Roach getting his belly bop around.
Big wrap around.
Yeah, they're going to get spotted. No one's here. Oh, good flash.
Oh, that's the end of it.
Yeah, it takes the Gragas Express. All right, lots of respect. These Krogs.
I mean, it's a really big roam. This opens up the bottom lane, so the first brick will come through for Ever8. The turn and top have multiple members to try this, but Balrog's in the vicinity. They just won't be able to have the opening.
Yeah, Dark Passage comes in, but that is going to be first turret falling down. So 1.5k gold going to be the lead. Thrill of the Hunt sounds terrifying, but it's okay. Nothing's going to happen, guys.
I mean, if you leave that turn in the bottom lane with you 30%, 40% HP remaining, then this is a good rotation from Kongdoo Monster to try to force up. They know that this turn's been chipped out, but they'll be able to get this in the end. But losing out on that first brick gold is going to be absolutely massive here for Ever8. Big burst going over to Duel.
Yeah. Roach is going to pick up this wave before it crashes into the bottom turret as well. And I thought if they were able to actually get that to crash into the inner on the bottom side with the help of Jules' wave clear, then that could have been an opportunity. But thankfully for Kongdoo Monster, not going to be the case. Roach is going to be able to hold that there if he wants to. Spectre's Cowl and the Kindle Gem done. No room for control wards, so a little bit of a party foul, I have to say. But still, going to be feeling pretty good moving towards the Spirit Visage item number 1. Helper's still trying to catch up on that front. 30 CS down at this point on the Shen, but we know, don't really need to look at the CS for this, as Sol looking for some sort of sneaky play. This is the mid-game power that you do get. I mean, Blade of the Ruin King not quite done yet for Sol, but once he gets that, we know what a Twitch is capable of. Can he actually find anyone unawares is the question, as Jewel and Ella are pushed relatively far forward, but Malrong, he knows exactly what's up. He needs to be here in case any sort of gank is going to come in, and remember, Helper does have the Stand United if the Twitch is going to open up. Oh, the arrow lands! Oh, Sol almost flashed, still in range. That Contaminate was so incredibly satisfying to watch. So honestly, he wins out.
It's when you get the classic like Lulu and you just shoot the glitter lance through all the minions.
No. Do you know what the best one is? It's the Crescent Slash.
Oh, from
Diana.
Oh!
Oh, yeah, there's the hook onto Jewel. Stand United comes in. He's trying to turn this one around. Yeah, Wild Growth comes down as well. Sol gets exhausted as Ella turns up, and my God, the balls on this man as Guga. He may fall down as well. The last auto attack, the double kill for the Ashe, and he had no fear. In the meantime, Kitty Cat gets mad, and he's going to be able to take down Punch. All of a sudden, Ever8 turn it on.
Yeah, just explosions all over the map here as Punch goes down as well. But, I mean, that was the play that I was talking about coming into this one. The assassination potential is there from Sol and Guga, but they have to know whether or not that Stand United is up. They knew that it was there. They still go for the play, and it completely gets turned around on them because of it. Helper single-handedly doesn't need to arrive. It doesn't matter if it gets interrupted, as it did. It's just the shield is enough to keep anybody from Ever8 alive at this point. The damage from the Twitch has not reached a critical mass. See, he's just going to go ahead and channel it right in front of the face of the Gragas.
And Jewel has just absolutely no fear and complete faith in Ella and, of course, Helper's ultimate in order to make that one work. We saw even a Weaver's Wall that was used to get Malrong that kill onto Punch in the mid lane.
We won't get a replay of that one because it's just, well, you know, Punch died again.
Yeah, we saw the
Not worth seeing.
We understood what was up. But yeah, we also do want to have new information, Achilles.
It's like watching the wet noodle fight with the tanks in the top lane. The Punch dies. We don't need to look at this.
Entry to the death chamber is something we're all used to. Yeah. You know, we see that. No, I mean it sounds cruel, but honestly, it's so true. This whole tournament has not been something good for Punch. In all honesty,
this whole split.
Yeah, he's had a rough time. He certainly has.
It's unfortunate. It really is. As much as we, you know, rag on him, it's quite sad to see that his play has deteriorated this much, and that Kongdoo, and it's not just him alone, as you mentioned before, the communication, the cohesion from Kongdoo Monster just has not been there throughout the duration of the spring split. But he was one of those ones, like when we saw him during the promotion tournament going into spring, he looked like a very strong pickup from the team and looked like this could be the thing that kind of turns Kongdoo around. And for a while, that was the case. Going to Kespa Cup, going to Gyeonggi. But things have just not been working out here.
Casual arrow thrown in the mid lane. Scepter gets stunned, but nice double tap on that first threaded volley. Malrung just using his ult to make sure that there was going to be no follow-up after that arrow flew by. Ocean Drake possibly the option here for Ever8 winners who are once again in control in the mid game. 16 minutes in, 4-0 in kills. Even on turrets, but that's a 3,000 gold lead almost here for Ever8 winners at match point to get themselves into the LCK for the first time. Been trying for a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of these players with a lot of competitive experience as well. Not Malrung. He's the young'un. Ella, of course, been playing for a long time. Helper as well. Seen around the traps like 2014. But none of them in the LCK so far.
And this would be such a huge step here for Ever8. They've been trying to get in for the longest time.
Yeah. And
just have not been able to do so. But they have a very nice infrastructure as a team. I can't speak for their coaching staff and managerials, but as far as their team environment, it's actually quite good.
I think as far as recent additions to coaching staff, Spawn now on the roster. I used to cast with him, but it's a different one. And I don't know who deserves credit for how they've been drafting this series, but honestly, it has been very, very nice to watch.
Yeah. It's also a team that has had opportunities to communicate, potentially even scrim against a lot of the Western teams that come to Korea to boot camp, because a lot of them do so out of the Ever8 hotel where these guys are based, who they're sponsored by.
Hey, true.
Yeah.
The easy scrim partner maneuver.
It's like, well, if you want to stay at our hotel, you got to scrim against us. 3 blocks a week, 7 p.m., we'll see you there.
Isn't it normally like Western teams that are trying to ask the Korean teams to scrim? It doesn't work that way, Achilles. You got it the other way around. But would be cool.
It's good for both sides.
Oh, certainly.
Because, you do have these separate metas that come out between the Challenger and the actual LCK organizations.
Well, let's talk about what has eventuated after that big skirmish that led to this 3,000 gold lead. Biggest one for me is going to be Jewel with that 30 CS advantage now on this Ashe. Champion that he looked fantastic on game number 1. Now 2-0-1. Feeling very, very nice. Malrung looking for a bit more of an aggressive build now on the Rengar once again. Black Cleaver for item number 2. Already has his Ninja Tabi picked up, so a bit of extra HP as well as all the CDR that a Rengar does love. Not to mention being able to do more damage.
More damage is always great.
Yeah. Edge should still be able to pop someone if he needs to. So Kuzan for Jin Air playing Suicide Syndra, which is where it doesn't matter. I press my ult on someone, so they're dead, even if I am. He was making it look pretty good.
So it's going to be difficult. I mean, if he tries to catch anybody and Ella is remotely nearby, the Wild Growth will come through. And Edge does not have the damage to pop anybody through that.
Stand United as well is a big deal.
Yeah.
Arrow,
that one's a bit harder to react to, I'd have to say. It's really good communication if you could pop Stand United during an Unleash Power channel.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
true.
Props to Helper if he could pull it off.
Man, Helper's a helper, okay? Got to trust him to be able to get this stuff done.
I mean, that's split-second stuff. But when you have a Lulu sitting next to you,
he's got the helper.
They're watching it.
The helper Shen item build as well. Doesn't want no Titanic Hydra. Doesn't want to be self-sufficient. No. The wave clear I'm going to opt into is going to be Sunfire Cape because I only do utility. I'm not even about split pushing.
And normally I'd be a bit puzzled by that, but it's because he wants to fast-track his defensive items so that he can mitigate the damage output from the Twitch. He knows that that's going to be the big worry that he has to be concerned about. So he wants to mitigate that, and it just doubles down. It doubles down and helps him out with punch as well.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
I don't think that it's a bad decision. He is suffering in CS, down nearly 30 at the moment, but he does what he needs to do.
The ultimate's there. There's the Wild Growth. There's the Stand United, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Not going to get the kill, but that is 2 big buttons now unavailable in trade for just 1.
Yep, well, there we go. Helper, he pulls it off.
All wrong.
Pops it out. Wild Growth thrown down as well. Keeps Tool alive. He's pretty okay at the moment as far as his HP is concerned. The heal helps him out quite a bit.
Oh, Helper going to get stunned, but nope. Roach could have gone for the explosive cast, but they didn't really want to get a Shen into the team fight. Hook lands onto the kitty cat. In goes Guga, but this could be more than he can chew. Seismic shove is there. Malrong immediately flashes, gets out of the way as Jewel doing so much work with his Hurricane. In goes Scepted, punches in trouble. There's the flash, and he picks it up with another threaded volley. Arrow comes in right onto Soul, who has to flash immediately afterwards. And can Helper get underneath the turret is the question.
From the sidelines. They have to be careful. They'll likely just concede this turret. Septic can rip through them over the wall if he so chooses. Instead, will wrap back around. Wave clear from Edge. Tosses out these orbs is going to be decent, but can't really afford to play this far forward. I think they just have to let this turret go.
Yeah, stun onto Helper, but the hook is on the minion. Soul, yeah, they're trying to get this flanking play. Remember, the spray and pray's there. Roach, no body slam, doesn't have the flash in order to get all that CC.
Yeah, there's no cast either to try to pop somebody in.
Oh, there it is. Just for zone. Probably would have waited for a minion wave there, Malrong.
It lasts a decent while. So he's okay. They throw down a ward, but it's going to be denied there by the control ward in the brush as they keep poking in for this one.
Oh, nice triple stun out from Edge as Jewel takes so much damage from the ultimate. Ella now over to the side, but so low. Malrong does need to get his way out. Good pick from Kongdoo Monsters. There's Scepter getting stunned, but uses the cleanse. Gets himself safe from the knockback on the explosive cast. Can Kongdoo Monster finally get one on the board?
A bit of an overstay there from Ever8. They just wanted to get that turret, got very greedy and kind of tunnel visioned in onto it. So you know what? We get this. We break the final outer turret that opens up the map for us to push in, get deeper vision inside the jungle. But instead, they get punished for it as Duel goes down. Only one to die here in this entire game so far for Ever8. So not the most punishing of results that you could have seen. Kongdoo are unable to answer with an objective, but still a bit of a lapse in their decision-making from Ever8.
It wasn't up to Ever8 as well. They didn't really have onus on them. The waves were pushing in their favor. The CS would have been lost by Kongdoo Monster underneath turrets.
They should have just let it go.
Oh, Edge actually gets his way in here. Nicely done. Denies the Weaver's Wall from all the zoning capabilities, utilizing the Dark Passage. But yeah, it just means that if they weren't engaged on, if they didn't have that moment occur, then it would have been Ever8 winners that got themselves ahead.
And you see here, Jewel, he has that Null Magic Mantle, is going to be looking for the QSS to come through because you can't play that far forward that disrespectfully to the Syndra.
Arrow, good sidestep from Edge. Just
without being able to get out of the stun. Yeah, nice little juke. Oh, that's a stun yet again.
Yeah, Jewel is going to be dead as every button goes down once again. Oh, explosive cast and contaminate are enough to secure that one, but the immediate answer punch once again. Back into the death chamber. Stun onto Helper, but Scepted thankfully escapes out of that one. Helper can be struck by these buttons, but Edge is doing work here in this mid-game on the Syndra.
And he's really trying to make me eat my words. I said he wasn't going to be the catalyst for success for Kongdoo. Thought that it was all going to be on the back of Soul, but Edge does come up with 2 stuns in a row and another pop down onto Jewel, who, again, without that QSS, cannot be frontlining as the Ashe. He needs to have the likes of Helper and Malrong in front of him every single time. They dump the Wild Growth and that Stand United down, but when Edge is there and he's got Soul to back him up, Roach tossing in that explosive cask, it will not be enough to save the Ashe.
Yeah, can't actually afford the QSS after dying there as well, so still 25 CS in the lead and a couple of extra kills.
He's safe from 2.
The turret, he should be okay.
He can be safe from 2. When there's 3 people throwing stuff at him, he's pretty screwed.
Yeah. I mean, odds are you're going to hit something at that stage. Scepted wants to get an assassination. Edge clearing out vision here. This Baron Pit immediately gets replaced. Frustrating. Now, Ever8, double dragons, an ocean and mountain. Feel like the old early Baron take dragons. And yes, double dragon, fantastic game. Kudos. But this gold lead's still only 3,000. Somehow, Kongdoo Monster have managed to sneak in here. Things are coming down to the mid lane on the side of Kongdoo, and they're the ones looking like they're making the proactive moves. Jules just looking for farm where he can. Actually decided that he'd pick up a ruby crystal, going for what looks to be the black cleaver for item number 3 after his QSS is complete.
I can see the frustration here from Ever8, desperately wanting to get that turret down. Still has not found it yet.
Yeah. Well, Sunfire Cape's now done for Helper. What's that third item, though, really, before it can be that big front line? There's Malrung with this greedy-ish build. Oh, Ella. Okay, no worries. Arrow's going to fly through. Goal. Cougar and Edge nicely sidestepped to each side. Arrow drifts lazily to the south side of the map.
Field goal is good.
Yeah, Weaver's
Wall,
Wall.
though. It's cut off, and Roach is from the sidelines.
Oh, accepted immediate cleanse. The explosive cask is invested as well. Not exactly a great move.
That's
Seismic shove onto punch as the turret falls.
That's all they really wanted. You know, have to invest a couple different things there. Weaver's Wall, Ash Arrow, exhaust out from Ella. They finally get the turret. They open up the map for themselves. Keep pushing in deeper and deeper.
Everett do have 5 members down here, but they don't want to go too aggressive. Soul's going to be able to grab that red buff. Everett winners just say, we managed to get the turret. We're now 4,000 gold in the lead. We're creating incremental advantages. Let's get our items and go home. QSS finally done. Here for Duel.
There you go. Play forward to your heart's content.
What is it with Scepted and picking up Void Staves without anything else? Like, just outright Void Staff.
He's looking for Magic Pen. He wants to chip away as much as he can.
Maybe he's never actually found the recipe and he thinks that it's just a single item.
This is the most expensive single item I've ever seen.
Yeah. Why does everyone need to build it as well? This is so frustrating.
Honestly, I think that's something that would be interesting as far as the item meta goes. Adding an item that has no components to build up from, but it has a relatively high cost overall.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Something that you could tune to be, you know, pretty damn strong.
Yeah,
but then you have to make the sacrifice of not being able to buy it until later. Or, you know, not being able to buy anything in between.
I think that promotes the snowball meta, though, which is not what we really want. Meaning that if you snowball and you can buy that item, it's busted.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I've never been against snowball, to be honest.
But these things sometimes just have to remain as hypothetical.
Exactly. Like Seamstress Talia. What a skin.
You guys are having quite a go at that one.
Oh, man. We had it fully theory crafted, man. We were ready to go to the planning phase. I reckon.
Ticket to the artists.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Arrows available. Duel can actually get something happening here. He's been pretty trigger happy on it as well. Not exactly as accurate as game number 1, but still doing well. Everett are most certainly in a winning position. Good body slam. Oh, that flash from Scepted was 10 out of 10. As in goes Alpha, they do get the taunt onto Roche, who takes a fair bit of damage, and Scepted is low. Can't be in range of this Syndra at any time, as Edge is actually zoned relatively far out of this fight. Roach in trouble. Seismic shove does it, and Scepted locks it down. Guga gets an arrow to the face and a taunt as well. He flashes. Jewel wants to flash after him, gets in. 2 auto attacks does it. Good stun as QSS is used. There's the Weaver's Wall to make sure the Ashe survives, and Everett seem to have the answers that Kongdoo don't.
Yeah, they come up with 2 picks. Roach going down on the backside, even with Scepted being dangerously low. There's no way for him to out-trade. He gets taken out, and then all of the CC being chained together beautifully onto Guger.
Oh,
the thresh goes down, even through the box. They want to poke in for this, but the wave clear from Edge is still going to be pretty substantial. So they have to peel back. No way for them to opt into something like the Baron off of that.
They can get a dragon, though. Next one's going to be a Mountain Drake, making it double mountain and an ocean. I like that one. But first, let's have a look at what happened, Achilleos.
Yeah, I mean, this is Kongdoo yet again. They want to pull the trigger on something, but they don't have the damage to get through a Stand United, even with Edge pouring everything in on Decepted. He barely stays alive. Roach doing his damnedest to take him out, but it's just wonderfully played by him as hopefully we follow him off to the sidelines. Misses the initial threaded volley, but follows up with another one. Straight shot down the hallway into the seismic shove. Gets the full rotation off and just takes him out. Guger, there's really nothing you can do at this point.
This communication was beautiful, though. Like, just with the fact that Jewel was obviously telling his team, don't worry, I got this kill, I can flash over and get it. Everybody else just trying to zone, making sure the Ashe stays alive, and the QSS there to avoid getting, you know, orb to the face, stunned forever and killed.
And Ella's there to back him up. Has the wild growth over the wall to really ensure that he makes it out of there if more of those orbs start coming through from Edge. But ultimately, they get the 2 picks, even through the exhaust. Duel comes up with a kill. And now it's 8-2. 4.8 thousand gold, lead about to be 5,000 here, really, for Everett. Baron has not come through yet at 30 minutes, but it's looking ever so likely. Couple picks on either team. That's going to be the first thing they turn for.
Now, Well, Black Cleaver looks to be the next option like we were mentioning before from Jewel, so it does turn that Ruby Crystal into the Phage and a Kindle Gem there as well. So having the extra health, fantastic, but what he really wants is that cooldown reduction. 20% added on top means that these arrows will be flying out thick and fast, and with the omission of Essence Reaver from the standard Ashe build, it is kind of cool. Plus having extra attack speed means that you stack up that Black Cleaver a little bit more quickly. Therefore, we have a bit of a change with how this Ashe build works. I personally like this. Thrill the Hunt has been popped. Oh, Weaver's Wall is going to get scepted all the way through. Arrow lands onto Guga. He's going to get bounced back as the explosive cask, I believe, came in. I don't know, it was just a blast cone, but look at this. Scepter. Oh my god, Explode. Soul's turning this one around. Guga's going low. Oh my god, Roach. He's controlling this fight. Guga in trouble as Helper. Everyone actually jumping on top of each other. Punch gets his way through. Roach grabs one, and Kongdoo Monster have turned this fight on its head. That is 3-0. And now Malrong is going to have to be the hero that Ever8 need.
They opted in for the 50-50, but this time there's way more on the line. Doesn't want to go down with lose the Guardian Angel on top of it all. There's no way that he can opt in for the steal. Kongdoo Monster still so very healthy. Will pick up the Baron in a massive turnaround. 5,000 gold lead was there, and suddenly it's completely gone. See the blast cone comes through here, pops Guga out to safety. It's actually Scepted that initiates it, and then that causes the miss on the seismic shove. Had that not happened, that was just going to be the hit coming through, so the attack move actually costs him, and then the pop comes through as he wraps around from the side, gets destroyed, so there's not as much consistent damage anymore here for Ever8, and with this beautiful flank from Roach, they isolate Duel, force him to stop hitting the DPS members of Kongdoo Monster, has to turn onto the Gragas, and he can just soak so much damage that Soul wraps back around with Edge. They kill him, that turns into more, and then they just go straight over onto the Baron. You know, less than 1,000 gold now. In the lead is Ever8. This really could be a victory for Kongdoo.
This has exploded, and there are a bit of some advantages to be had in those dragons that have been picked up, but it doesn't help them in a team fight. So now they're looking to try and hold on, and what can Kongdoo Monster get from this? As there's the Weaver's Wall, just trying to isolate members of Kongdoo Monster.
Trying to buy time. This puts Soul off the turret, but they're still going to be able to take this one down.
Yeah, they don't want to invest Helper just yet. He's got the Stand United. He can make it into any fight because he's alone. You can see now Malrong not going to have the Thrill of the Hunt there anymore. Wasn't able to get the initiation they were looking for.
That play, this is just a game of seconds now for Ever8. They do not want to be fighting Kongdoo when the Baron buff is there. So just trying to buy as much time off of that buff as possible so that earns them about 5 seconds or so before the turret goes down. But now big wraparound is coming through.
Yeah, I like this positional advantage that they're trying to gain for themselves. Seismic Shove onto Roach, gets him back in. Explosive Cast, just casually tossed out.
It's a nice tool to get rid of, but they have to be very cautious and conscious of this wave up in the top lane. It's building up and pushing in towards their inner turret, and they're not really gaining any ground down here in the bottom lane.
And Ever8 winners have to be very careful as well, because if you're going to try and push against a Twitch with an Infinity Edge and a lot of attack speed, that is a dangerous prospect. Massive minion wave stacking, like you said, towards the top side, and Soul's going to be there to meet it.
And it's going to be a 3-man push, powered by Baron, going on to this inner turret. Soul will shred through this thing. See how they want to approach the defense. Cougar poking in from the backside. Throw the hunt from Malrong.
Weaver's Wall is very close to
Ashe
being up
arrow.
as the arrow lands onto Punch.
Seismic Shove, they get him.
Thrown back, just takes himself the lantern. That range was actually very, very lucky as Malrong almost had the jump on him. Okay, Roach not going to find it, and look, the cat is just not able to jump into the backline like Malrong wants to. You can see what's going through his mind, but he just can't really get the initiation he's looking for.
Well, they don't get the turret, but they get it dangerously low. But, I mean, this is that critical point here for Soul where he can really just open up on somebody and completely delete them.
Until he has the QSS, it's not going to feel like he can just stand wherever he wants, though.
Yeah, he can't duel somebody like the Ashe.
Yeah.
But if he finds Ella alone, you know, going out trying to clear wards, gain vision for the team, he can absolutely delete that Lulu, and then you get rid of that massive tool with the Wild Growth.
Well, this is a good news story. Helper takes down that bottom inner turret. No one quite making it there in time, and Guga and Edge are actually trying to find the Shen, but the more he can make them move out of the way, the better this is for for Ever 8 Winners. Elder Dragon has just spawned.
I mean, it's not only that, but the longer that they chase him, the likelihood of taking him down because he has the flash and the shadow dashes that can come through, it just still burns more and more time off of the Baron buff.
Yeah.
It's got to be close to expiring soon if we get the hover over on somebody like Punch.
The thing that's
I can
so
see how much
impressive
left there is.
Ever 8 are still in control of the minion waves.
Yeah.
They're
It's been
creating
really great
pressure
management
everywhere.
for them.
Yeah, exactly. Super impressive. 1,000 gold, so nothing in it. Kongdoo Monster do need to be careful about the top wave and the bottom wave. Mid lane now being taken care of by Scepted. Jewel's going to get barreled, but thankfully there's a Whimsy Shield.
Playing with fire, though. Explosive cast comes out. That's a guaranteed flash from Duel.
Oh, yes. Flash now just back up for Scepted. And everything available for Kongdoo Monster as well. So now, knowledge that they can win a team fight. They're maybe going for it. Yeah, Ella immediately flashing out of the way. There it is. Ella's just going to be destroyed. And now the Gen cannot make it into the team fight. Gorilla Hunt is up. They're trying to get on top of Sol, but he just flanks himself with everyone.
Well, he wasn't caught warding, but he was still caught forward in the lane. Sol opens up, and he goes down. Stand United, Wild Growth be damned. They get the pick off, and Kongdoo Monster, they're going to be looking to start up this Elder Dragon and take this one away. They have no Dragon stacks, but they're denying 3 away from Ever 8, so a massive takeaway here.
Yeah, Helper just says, well, I mean, they're probably going to be able to pick this one up, but I'll grab an inner turret on the bottom side of the map. Gold advantage still going to be there for Ever 8, but what can Kongdoo Monster do with this Elder Drake?
They have a very short window to try to utilize.
But they're going to need to do housekeeping in order to, you know, make this all work. I mean, getting an Elder Drake is fantastic when you've then got pressure in some lane somewhere. But in fact, off the back of it, they're going to lose an inner turret and a blue buff. Everyone on the side of Ever 8 is going to be able to make their way out. So Baron's going to be up in 1 minute and 14. And unless Kongdoo can start it straight away, could be a problem. Big deal is Edge. He's got a hat, he's got a mask, he's got a book and a cane, and some shoes. Like, this dude, very strong right now.
Yeah, it's been a complete turnaround performance from him, to say the least. His game against CJ Entis, Game 3, they came out with a win. He was 1-1-5 on the Syndra. Versus Jin Air in Game 3 when he played it. He was 4-3-4. So going deathless here in this series has been very impressive performance from Edge.
Yeah,
and
now Sol's on 4 items as well. His Twitch is disgustingly big.
Yeah, and he's building up towards Ozonius as well, so he's looking to maintain that deathless record for the rest of this one. So we'll see. Baron, 25 seconds out.
And there's still a lot of opportunities for Ever 8 if they can get all of their members in the right positions, land the arrow on the right members, because we've got no QSSs coming out of Kongdoo. We've got no Guardian Angels apart from the one on Roach that have been picked up. Nothing to mitigate the pick potential from Ever 8 Winners, who still can make that happen, and they still have the gold lead. Helper still splitting as there's the Hawk Shot. Will spot. The Kongdoo Monster are on this Baron.
Gorilla Hunt's out, but there's so much damage coming through. Baron Arc down below half. Weaver's Wall's tossed out.
Yeah, Roach and Punch can't actually do anything here. Good double barrel as the hook's not going to land on Decepted. Sol trying to get the flank over to the side, and he's looking for Scepted now. The arrow lands immediately on top of the Twitch. Jewel, can he actually do it as Guga's getting taken down so low? In goes the front line of Kongdoo Monster, though. Ella's been stunned up. Helper trying to do what he can, but look at this Syndra. Edge grabs the double. And they were too worried about the Twitch. They forgot the fact that there is so much firepower in this mid laner.
Yeah, now Kongdoo Monster can rotate right back over to the Baron. Could shove in, look for the inhibitor, but Scepted's still alive. Will make it back to the fountain and has the wave clear to get through those non-Baron empowered minions. So this will be Kongdoo going back over for this objective. It's 30 seconds out for Duel. And again, I think this just has to be conceded. You see Balrog wants nothing to do with this.
Yeah, this tower is easy pickings to Kongdoo Monster if they want to get there. This game's been going for 40 minutes. Finally, Kongdoo Monster find another team fight.
This was a roller coaster. Getting that Ash Hour in on the Soul seemed like maybe that was going to be the turnaround, but honestly, it's this big pop that comes through on the Duel. He was exhausted, then gets latched onto by Edge. Even just the initial Q takes him to about 50% HP, so it was just no hope for him to make it through that unleashed power. He gets ripped through like a hot knife through butter. And without the Ashe there, there's just nothing that Ever8 can do. They have to rely on Duel for that consistent damage.
Now Sol has the QSS, so we've got 6 items on Edge. He's picked up the Zhonyas. And we've almost got the Mercurial Scimitar done to finish out Sol's build. This is very, very scary because Kongdoo Monster, they're happy to scale, and they most certainly have done so now. Looks like Kongdoo Game 3 is going to be a thing. I mean, they're pretty good at winning them.
It really is looking that way. I mean, they finally swing the gold back into their favor. They have another Baron buff to equalize this turret count as they knock down this inner in the bottom lane. Top is pretty much prepped for them. The wave's not quite there, but it's working its way over. But Ever8, they need now. I mean, they were in the driver's seat for so long. Yeah. Massive lead. But now they are the ones that need one hell of a miracle to get themselves back in.
Yeah, and they want to be playing this split push game as well. I mean, Helper has been pretty adamant about getting himself into a side lane. You can see Top is pushing out for Ever8. They have been utilizing him effectively. Now with the Stand United there, he can certainly do it once again. But he is now grouping up with his team. So much forward vision from Kongdoo, so much map control. Now it's just about Ever8 winners trying to deny inhibitor turrets from these Baroned up creeps. But 2,000 gold in 41 minutes means basically nothing. Infinity Edge was just picked up from a BF sword here for Jewel as well, so it's going to be doing a heck of a lot of damage, especially with how Ashe's kit works as far as interacting with crit.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it really just does not matter about the gold. The turrets going down for Kongdoo is all about the vision that they're able to obtain, the openness of the map that they have. Because now Ever8 effectively have to stay inside of their base. They can't be prepping the waves, which is the thing they've been so good at throughout this game, throughout this series. They have to stick inside the base, and you can see even that's not working out too well.
Well, Weave as well is going to block Roach off, but he can take the Dark Passage, gets himself to safety.
Yeah. It's that, or just waits a couple seconds, soaks the damage, and then body slams through.
That one Malrong. Looking for that flank. Once again, it's another Thrill of the Hunt that just ticks down. Unfortunately doesn't get him. Oh, he actually jumps onto Punch here. Box goes down. Tower's fallen as well. Punch gets himself in there. Massive barrel and Jewel just going to get thrown towards the Syndra. He's still alive, but there's the stun. And the Ashe is destroyed. A double kill once again for Ever8. And that is all the damage done. Oh my goodness. Ever8 winners lose everyone that can hurt
That's the game.
the opponents, and that is going to be it. Kongdoo Monster are going to be able to take down this inhibitor and take us to game number 4 in this best of 5, showing us that there are still signs of life on this LCK team. Oh God, finally they've decided to show up. They deserve this one. Such a performance and a much better draft. They mix up everything. They pick both their solo laners the first round, and it shows. They are able to capitalize, so nicely done.